Hello, friends. Glad to see you again. You ever have a day start so weird you have to check if you're dreaming? Mine started with a stranger measuring my mailbox like it owed her back rent. I kid you not. There I was, shoulder deep in the guts of my old pickup, wrestling a cranky alternator, when a woman in a linen blazer, hair so stiff you could sand wood with it, power walked up my drive, clipboard like a weapon. She didn't introduce herself, didn't say hello, just peered at my mailbox like it was something nasty. She'd stepped in and declared, "This unit is non-compliant." That's how you know your day's about to get interesting, right? I wipe my hands, grease everywhere, and ask, "Non-compliant with what?" "Gravity." She lifts her chin and rattles off with the design guidelines. "Violation of neutral color scheme, decorative font, setback requirements. You'll receive a formal notice." Now, look, I'm not in any HOA. Never have been, and my left eye twitches whenever people start talking rules and regulations like they're about to sell me a timeshare. But she just smiles, this mirror practice smile, and says, "Everyone in this neighborhood is part of the association. It's mandatory." I try to tell her the boundaries, the end of the cul-de-sac, that my place is a good 3 acres and a creek away from their manicured subdivision. But she's unmoved. She wants my name, says they'll confirm my membership status. I just give her Sid, no last name, and tell her if she's got paperwork, I'll take it, otherwise, I've got a truck to fix. She stands there 30 seconds, heavy silence, like she's waiting for me to crack, then finally pivots and marches off with the posture of someone who's never tripped in public. That should have been the end, but you know what I mean, it never is. See, I bought this little pocket of land outright. Title company drowned me in paperwork confirming the 4 best words in real estate. No covenants, conditions, restrictions. Creek View's HOA didn't even exist when my parcel was cut. No annexation agreement, no shared anything. I'm about as covered by their rules as a goose by a raincoat. Next week, things start dripping in like a leaky faucet. Flyers in my mailbox, no stamps, just that oak leaf logo. Notices for urgent fines. My mailbox color, apparently rust isn't neutral. My old truck, and the grand offense of painting my house a bold blue. I ignore them. They're as enforceable as a grocery list. But I keep every envelope, every fine, just in case. Then comes flyer guy, young, nervous, the type who gets roped into door-to-door for potluck credit. He tapes a laminated dues delinquent sign to my porch. I step out with coffee, stare him down. He flinches, tries to hand me paperwork about some administrative fee to dispute my account. I tell him, again, I'm not a member, and he leaves, looking actually sorry, which almost makes me feel bad. Tell them to type County GIS map into a browser, I say, and tell them Sid says hi. But a couple hours later, the Oakleaf Blazer is back, with backup. A community manager with a briefcase and a frown, and a compliance coordinator clutching a yardstick like a teddy bear. They're here to resolve my membership status. I explain, patient but firm. Your fines have all the weight of paper snowflakes. You can't force HOA rules on land that isn't deed restricted. Mara, the Blazer, just laughs. Your property is deed restricted. The developer intended it. Show me, I say, and Griff, the manager, hands me a proposed annexation packet, and signed, not recorded, and about as legally binding as a wish list. I give them my best smile. You can propose you own the moon, but my deed says otherwise. That's when things get real. If you continue to deny your membership, we'll escalate. For the safety and uniformity of the community. Safety, for my blue house, I guess. Then Mara asks for my signature for gate access. Gate access. I gesture at the sky. There's no gate. Apparently, they voted to put one on a public county road. I laugh. I can't help it. Good luck with that. She calmly calls 911, claims I'm being hostile, refusing to comply. I'm standing on my porch with a wrench and a half-finished truck, and now, apparently, I'm a public menace. She steps off the porch, makes the call, and I go inside, grab my phone, and start recording, because when things get weird, documentation is your best friend. The officers show up quick, one older, one young. The sergeant sizes it up in a glance, listens as Mara accuses me of being aggressive. I calmly explain, show my deed, my parcel map, and the pile of HOA nonsense. The younger officer radios dispatch and comes back. No covenants on my property, not inside their boundary. The sergeant looks at me. Do you want to press trespass charges or just document? I settle for a documented warning and an incident number. Mara's fuming, insists I'm the violator. Ma'am, the sergeant says, this isn't your jurisdiction. He tells them if they come back, they risk arrest for trespass. If they have a dispute, take it to civil court, but stop using emergency services for HOA drama. After that, things get a little quiet, until a drone starts hovering over my roof. I snap photos, file complaints, and call the county about their unpermitted private road signage. Contractors have to dig out the posts they just cemented in while I watch with my coffee. Then, Creekview sends an unsigned letter threatening a lien on my property. I sit at my kitchen table, spread my certified deed and their empty threats, and just laugh, the kind that lets off months of steam. Then I write a letter, citing parcel numbers, laws, everything. Any attempt to record a lien will result in immediate legal action and personal liability for board members. Certified mail, bam. 3 days later, Mara shows up, this time solo and less official. You're making this harder than it needs to be, she sighs. I'm making it as hard as the law intended, I reply. She warns, you'll find out we have resources. I tell her, you'll find out I have time. She leaves, smaller than she came. The drone comes back, but I'm ready. Hold up a laminated printout of the privacy statute like a yellow card at a soccer match. County investigates. But then, a twist. My next-door neighbor, Edris, the retired music teacher with the best tomatoes in 3 counties, knocks on my door with bread and a story. HOA threatened him over an apple tree, his late wife's. He's angry, in his gentle way. We go over his deed and the law, and I help him draft a cease and desist. Pretty soon, I'm a one-man legal clinic, helping Dina and Owen, a couple with twins and a swing set targeted by Creekview, even though they're not in the HOA either. We send certified letters, one at a time. Creekview responds, silence, more flyers, and, eventually, another 911 call. This time, saying I brandish tools. The officers, different this time, more cautious, listen, check logs, take my coffee, and nod when I show receipts, recordings, dates. They note a flare-up of false reports. That night, I start a ledger. Every incident, flyer, drone, conversation, dated and detailed. Obsessive? Maybe. But in a world run on paper, armor is made of records. One night, a young woman, Jory, who cleans the clubhouse on weekends, is sent to tape a notice on my garage. She's scared, worried about her late fees. I tell her she doesn't have to trespass for them, and if they retaliate, she can come to me. That's when it hits me. This isn't just about me anymore. A week later, a stamped letter arrives from a law office. Legal thunder, talk of constructive membership, equitable estoppel, benefits accepted, trying every trick in the book to tie me in. I call my attorney, a fence line dispute veteran who's immune to nonsense. You're not bound. They know it. He writes a demand letter. Facts, statutes, incident numbers, deadlines, mailed certified to every board member. Things escalate. Lacey, a single mom, is told her laundry line lowers property values. Hale, a widower, gets a violation for his wheelchair ramp. The ledger is now a binder. The binder, a stack. Eventually, the county attorney's office gets involved. An investigator sits at my table taking statements, gathering evidence, even screenshots from Jory of HOA messages encouraging false reports. My attorney files for a harassment injunction, a temporary restraining order. The judge doesn't hesitate, grants a 1-year order. No contact, no surveillance, written retraction of the lien threat. Afterward, quiet descends. Mara is fined for misusing 911. Jory finds a better job. Lacey gets a new clothesline. Hale's ramp gets a handrail, courtesy of a kid who used to glare from enforcement runs. The drone kid takes a privacy course. There's a recall, new board, new letters, apologies, a settlement, and a 3-year bar on Mara serving again. The binder of HOA headaches now lives quietly on my shelf. Peace really does look good on this block. So if another clipboard ever shows up, I've got my pen, my camera, and neighbors who know their rights. Friends, let me ask you, where do you stand on all this? Do you think HOAs protect communities or go too far? What would you do if someone tried to force rules on you that never applied? Drop your thoughts below, share your own wild neighbor stories, and let's talk about what real community means. See you next time.